into it with our I will statements for today.
Remember, your I will statements are your goals for this lesson. They are what we are trying to work on and learn more about throughout our time together today. As we continue on in our lesson, make sure you have your mind focused on these 3 things and showing them to your teacher. I will read the I will statement first, and then we will read it again a second time together. Make sure you're reading it nice and loudly so I can hear you, but no shouting necessary.
Pause the video and read the I will statements now as a class. All right, mathematicians, for our warm-up activity today, you're going to need a whiteboard and the coordinate grid insert that looks like this, printed out from your teacher. Once you have those materials, you can play the video. First, we want to identify our X and Y axis on our coordinate plane. Our X axis is our point that we can see over here on the side. Let's circle that one. Here's our X axis, and our Y axis is our up and down line. When we are figuring out points or writing points for coordinate planes, we write our X point, or how many we go over first, and then our Y point, so how many we go up second. For instance, if we wanted to identify point A, let's count over how many we have to get to this line here. Well, we see we go all the way to our full number 1, and these are split up by 0.1s. We have 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, so on and so forth. So when we get to 1, the next one must be 1.1. And we have to see how many we go up. Well, 0.5 is here. So let's count out 0.5, 0.6. This is 0.7 up. So our point for point A, let's write it out. You put a parenthesis first. We had to count over 1 1/10. Then put your comma, and we had to count up 7/10. So this would be our coordinate pair for point A. Nice job, mathematicians. Now, there are other points on this graph, points B, C, D, and E. It is your job to identify those coordinate pairs on your graphs, and then when you are ready, come back and we'll start with our new material for today. I'll see you guys in a second. All right, mathematicians, for today's activity, you're going to need different templates from your teacher and your problem set as well. For our problem set activities today, it's important that we remember 4 simple steps when solving any kind of word problem so that we're able to explain our thinking adequately and show how we got to our final answer. Whenever we are presented with a word problem, and I'll write these on my whiteboard so I can reference these later. Write these on your whiteboard or on a piece of paper that you have at your desk as well. There are 4 steps that we want to think about when we see a word problem. The first thing is we obviously always want to read the whole word problem all the way through once. After we read through the problem, we see what we can draw and label from just the information we read. After we have finished drawing and labeling, we're going to take some time to look at our picture and then write an equation that shows how we solved the problem. And then finally, when we think we have an answer, we're going to write a word sentence. Word sentence, or that's kind of like a statement. So whatever the question was being asked to us, we're going to basically answer it in that final part when we write a word sentence. It's really important that when we're going through this process that we think to these questions ourselves and we start to internalize this behavior or start to realize these things on our own. If we're not sure how to approach these things, we can ask ourselves a few questions. Some of the questions, and I'm just going to slide my whiteboard up, don't erase anything. Some of the questions that we can ask ourselves are, what do I see? So take some time and look at that picture that you drew and label. What parts are missing? What specific information were you given in the problem that you know you already have? Can I draw something? It's easy to draw some of the things separate, but it's important to see maybe how to combine your drawings or how to apply your drawings to your mathematical thinking. And then your final questioning will involve those drawings and that next step of writing your equation in that word sentence. You want to think, what conclusions can I make from my drawing? From my drawing. So you want to take time and look back at your drawing, and that's when you start to pull out that information. Okay, what is the missing piece? What equation can I write based on that information? And then how can I show my thinking for how I got to my answer mathematically or with an equation and then a word sentence? After you have followed these 4 simple steps, you ask yourself these questions, you'll be able to start to work through how to solve different equations, mathematicians, and become good at approaching and more confident at approaching these types of problems when you come across them. You'll practice this approach today as you work through your problem set as a class and then independently. Good luck, mathematicians, and I'll talk to you guys soon.